Welcome back, children. We are doing the lesson Owls in the Family. And we have completed the introduction of the lesson, and that was about a family, Ruskin's family, who is living with his grandfather and grandmother, and they one day found an owlet and then another owlet which had fallen from the roof in the veranda and were from a nest that was on the roof. Yes, so they took care of the owlets, and then when they tried to free them, the mother owl attacked them, but then so the mother owlet realized her mistake. And how the author knew that she realized, because she greeted next day with a soft woo woo. Grandfather and the child were greeted by the mother owl, and they found the two young owlets perched on the hat stand in the veranda. Yes, now the grandfather observes that this is a very unselfish behavior by the mother owlet, and she wants to keep an eye on the children. Who should keep an eye? The family. Yes, so probably because they were getting too big for her to manage. Now why does he say that this is an unselfish behavior by the mother? Because animals, they do not trust their young ones with anyone else. They just want to keep them with themselves. They do not let anyone touch or take care of their babies. But the mother owl allows that to happen because she wants the children to get the best treatment possible. Yes, so that is why the grandfather calls her an unselfish mother. So the owlets became regular members of the household, and were among the few pets. They were already in a habit of taking care of animals because they have unusual pets like snakes and monkeys and crows, which their grandmother used to object having in the house. She did not like it. But these owlets the grandma took a liking for. And the author says that from time to time they had other pets like snakes and monkeys and crows, but grandmother always objected on them. But she took quite a fancy to the owlets and frequently fed them spaghetti. What did she feed? Spaghetti. They seemed to like spaghetti. In fact, the owls became so attached to grandmother that they began to display affection towards anyone in petticoats. Anyone who was wearing the same attire as the grandmother, they used to display affection to, including Aunt Mabel, who was actually terrified of them, which was funny because owlets used to show affection, and she used to get scared and run screaming from the room every time one of the little birds sided up for to her in a friendly manner. She was scared of the owlets, forgetful of the fact that the grandfather and the child had reared them, saved them, fed them. The owls would sometimes swell their feathers and peck at someone in trousers. Now this is their defensive attack, to scare somebody who is going to hurt them. The thought that somebody is a threat to my identity, animals do what? They swell their bodies, so that they appear bigger than they actually are, and they attack. Now these birds have beaks, so they used to peck and swell their feathers and peck at anyone who are in trousers. So the the author is all actually offended that he and the grandfather used to wear trousers, and they were the people who saved these owlets and fed them and reared them, and they are used to attack them. So he feels very bad about it, and to avoid displeasing them, still what they would do, the grandfather and the child, they will slip into grandmother's petticoats. Grandfather would often slip into the grandmother's petticoats, and during feeding time, and what did Ruskin do? He used to wear aprons to satisfy them so that they don't attack them. Now, in response to grandmother's voice, the owlets would make gentle and soothing sounds which sounded like the purring of a cat. And when the wild owls were around, but when there were wild owls around, the house, what the owlets would do, they would rend the night with blood-curdling shrieks. You know, around grandmother, they were as they made shooting sounds like a cat's purr, but when other owls were around, they would shriek. Bird-curdling shrieks they will, you know, make throughout the night. They love to sit and splash in a shallow dish provided by grandmother. That was another time pass, and they even enjoyed more when she used to pour cold water over them with a jug. And when after they had their bath, and they will get jump out wet, and then they will perch on the towel rack, shake themselves, and then return for a second splash again, and sometimes even a third. So that it was their favorite work, time pass to do. During the day they dozed on the hat stand. That was their favorite place. And after that dark, what they would do, they will roam around freely in the house, and their night occupation was catching beetles from the kitchen quarters. So the kitchen was infected with beetles, and they were excellent pest controllers with their sharp eyes and powerful beaks, and they treated kitchen as a happy hunting ground, and they were excellent pest destroyers, observes the writer. Looking back on those childhood days, the writer says that I carry in my mind a picture of my grandmother sitting in her rocking chair with a contented owlet sprawling on her aproned lap. Sprawling means stretching out. Animals never stretch out unless they trust you. you know and what is contented means happy and satisfied. So the owlet is happy and satisfied and is stretching out in the lap of whom? The grandmother. And the lap is apron. She's wearing an apron. So once on entering her room while she was taking an afternoon nap, the author saw that the owlets had crawled up on her pillow and crawled higher up till its head was snuggled under her grandmother's ear. Snuggled is moved into a comfortable position. So they were so close that even they were sleeping together on the same pillow. Yes, and both the grandmother and the little owl were snoring. Now that is a very pretty picture, so homely and lovely childhood memory. Ruskin says that it was, and it was one of the favorite memories, one of the most favorite memories that Ruskin had. Her grandmother on her rocking chair with the owlets sprawling in her apron lap, and then the other one, the grandmother sleeping in her bedroom, and the owlets snuggling under her ear, and both grandmother and the owlets snoring. So, pretty picture, right? See, words can create a picture for you too if you just observe the details. Yes? Now let's do this exercise. Choose the right option to answer these questions. What did the narrator's grandfather do to the owlet he found in veranda? He picked it up. What happened when the narrator realized an owlet on a mango tree released? The mother attacked him. What did the owl do when they heard narrator's grandmother's voice? They made soft soothing sounds. I hope you got all the answers right. Now this you can do as a homework and read the questions carefully. We will do the discussion in class 2 and then we will write the notes. In next video I'll see you with a grammar topic. Take care. Bye till then.